let's start with what you were saying yesterday about Super Bowl prediction.
Okay.
I mean, have we even touched this? Like, do you think that
I
are you going
wanna-
to touch this game at all? Chiefs,
Yes,
Eagles?
I want to touch it all over.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like they could honestly, the Eagles could win by 3.
I can see it too. That's a tough
and
one.
I know most people don't bet against Mahomes, and it's very hard to. It's like betting against Joe Montana. It's like betting against Tom Brady. But the thing with that is this reminds me of when the Giants played against the Patriots, and they were trying to go for history in 2008, right?
Mhm.
And for me, I feel like when you're just right on the precipice of greatness, the football gods just bring you down a little bit.
And the greatness he's talking about, so they were what, 17-0?
They were
because they were 16-0.
No, they were 18-0, but and playoffs, right?
And then
so they were going for 19-0.
Undefeated season.
Undefeated season, right? So at that time, the Giants had just played them before, and they got a sneak peek of them. But it was all about that defensive pressure. Justin Tuck, Kiwanuka, Michael Strahan, right? All those guys. Shout out to Justin Tuck because I know him from the local Acme. But
amazing.
I know. Well, Anyway, all I know is that Jalen Carter, beast. Nolan Smith, beast. Zach Vaughn, beast. You got Graham coming back. Brandon
Graham's just got activated today. I saw
Bro,
that.
that's a crazy front seven.
And I think that on the other side of the ball, the Chiefs are going to do the same thing. They're going to stack the box a lot. They're going to
Well,
play
that's why
hard.
a lot of people, I was leaning towards the over, but right now, where it's hovering over like 49.5, I like it, being like a 28-20 game,
I can see that.
Eagles. Because like anything else in the playoffs, like teams start slow.
True.
And also, too, they're both nervous. They're coming out. It's Saquon Barkley's first appearance. We can't forget to mention that on his birthday. So happy birthday to him.
Yep. Same with Cooper DeJean.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one. But
yeah, they both celebrate the same day.
Yeah. So.
So the last game, just for reference, the Chiefs won. Okay, so it was by 38-35.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel the same now. Like I feel like Mahomes and Hurts, they can go ban for ban.
Yes, they can. But also too, think about it. For betting reasons, Hurts had 3 push brotherly shoves, whatever you want to call it, in that game. You're telling me he can't get 1? He gets 1.
Yeah. I like you're saying Jalen anytime touchdown?
Yeah, Jalen anytime.
I love it.
Put it down.
I love it.
Jalen anytime touchdown. And then on the Chiefs side, I call Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown. Right now, they're utilizing him in the goal line more than Pacheco. Right? Pacheco is your third down back, and he's literally there for protection. Maybe a little string out, a little pass, but first and goal, first and 1 on the 5, they're going right to Hunt.
So right now, the Chiefs are -1.5.
Right.
This is DraftKings FanDuel. -1.5 Chiefs. Okay. Eagles +1.5.
Right.
Super close.
Yeah.
The money
it's
line.
A
so -105 money line for Chiefs.
Yeah.
-115 for Eagles.
Yeah.
That's close. So right now there's about 55 to 60% of people saying the Chiefs are going to win, but bets about 55 to 60% on the Eagles. So most people are in the same boat as you.
Right.
It's tough, man, because this could be a three-peat for them. Obviously, Mahomes is a dog. Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, these guys know how to coach.
Any way out of this game, it's history being made, right? Either they're getting stopped or they're, winning 3 in a row. The last ones to be on, the edge like this was the Patriots. On the break back in, when they were going with when they got that win against the Panthers in 2004. Then they had the Eagles win in 2005. And then, obviously, they couldn't return back there. I think they got bounced out in the first round or something like that. But that's why it is hard. Back to the 72 Dolphins, right? When Miami was on the precipice and they were winning Super Bowls, they were trying to win 3 in a row. It didn't happen. It is very hard. People are already giving the chip to Kansas City. I just can't see it. And I know it's hard to bet against Andy Reid.
I think the only way that the Chiefs can win and successfully win, which they've proven all season they can do this exact thing. I think they're going to stop the run. And they're going to force Jalen to throw the ball. Saquon's a dog. We know that. But I mean, these guys can blitz all game, fucking stack the box, and rely on their safeties, their defensive backs to cover.
Well, Spagnuolo, he's a great defensive coach.
Fantastic.
And, speaking of that Super Bowl with the Giants and the Patriots, he was the one that stopped Tom Brady. How ironic would it be?
Was he on the Giants?
Yeah, how ironic would it be for him to get stopped the other way around?
That'd be unbelievable.
By Vic Fangio. So, again, I just feel like it's going to be a defensive game. I was really high hoping, for it to be over, but like looking at my calculations and I'm looking at, all right, how these teams both start out, I feel like it's going to be under 50. Now, call me crazy, but I just feel like, again, both teams in the Super Bowl, they want to talk about that they can score, but they're very good defensively.
Both teams, yeah, exactly. I mean, and look, at the end of the day, the Chiefs, they got a lot of glory behind them. Yeah. Everyone talks about the refs. Everybody talks about.
Well, that's the thing. When you're the Eagles or any other team in the NFL, which everybody had to go through with the Patriots, right? Patriots would get calls, right? They're a good team. I'm not saying that it's rigged. A lot of people will say the NFL is rigged.
I can't.
I can't say that either. I just see a very good team that gets lucky.
And I think Mahomes gets the calls. He's like the Jordan of our generation.
Right, and I think the opposing team, when it gets crunch time, they get nervous. They don't want to make a mistake. All of the Raiders on Christmas Day, they hike the ball, fumble it. How about, Denver? They get a blocked field goal during the year. People these teams are just probably not ready to be at that level, but the Eagles are. They've been there before.
They have been, but they've also proven they can fucking choke. They've proven that this season that they can lay down and die.
But you know what? They got Saquon.
They do got him.
That's the sauce. That's the sauce. I know that actually they had a stat on NFL Network, which was really cool. It was that Spagnuolo in the playoffs hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher.
I was going to say, I like, personally, I don't want to take it, but the under on Saquon, it could be very possible. They are going to key in on him.
I don't have the guy owns to
player
do
of the
it.
year.
I don't want to do it because I just can't sit there and root for
I can't root against
tackle
Saquon.
for loss.
Yeah.
But I could definitely root for you like a 60-yard rush, right? Like he could get 60 yards, or you do one of those combos where it's 60 yards and receiving. You know what I mean? But for the people that want to do 130. God bless you. I'll be rooting for
one
you.
guy in this game that I'm not touching. And I'll tell you somebody that I do like on that side. If you want to talk about some of your, what'd you call it, parlay, cash money, homie segment.
Cash money, homie.
For the homies. I guess we gotta show some love
money,
for the homies.
Like Snoop Dogg once said.
I think you'll like this one. What about Dallas Goddard?
Okay.
Over receptions, over yards. 50 and a half. So he's got 50 and a half on FanDuel and for yards.
Right.
4.5 receptions.
Okay.
I could even say possible anytime. I wouldn't take that, maybe just stick with the receptions. Yeah. But so let's say the last two games alone, which he's been getting a lot of work. The Chiefs are horrible against tight ends.
Yes. I love Brock Bowers on Christmas.
What was the last game? So he had 7 receptions, 85 yards versus the Commanders.
Right.
4 receptions, 56 yards against the Rams, and then the game before that, 4 for 47 against the Packers. So if they rush a lot on someone like Jalen, I'm thinking he's going to maybe have a lot of short area throws, short area targets. Someone like Goddard. I think someone like A.J. Brown might get shut down. I think Devonta might be hot. That's on the Eagles side of the ball. And then, of course, Jalen anytime touchdown. Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
You know what, my friend? That is a very good pick. I like that because if you're going to poke a hole into the KC defense, it is at tight end. They have trouble stopping the tight end. Over the last couple of weeks, tight ends have averaged over 40 yards against them. Obviously, Dallas Goedert is better of those tight ends with a better quarterback.
He was 7th in consistency.
Right. He could definitely go off. My quick hit for that game, obviously, I'm going to piggyback on your Jalen Hurts touchdown because, we know when they get in the red area and it's 2 or closer, brotherly, that kills all your Saquon bets. So I'm going with a Hurts anytime. I'm going with a Kareem Hunt anytime because I explained to you
You
before.
like Kareem, huh?
I love Kareem
You
Hunt.
feel
Man.
it.
I loved him back in 2017 if he wasn't kicking a girl on the floor. But I love him, and I think first and goal, they're handing it off to him, if not a play action to Travis Kelce. But Kareem Hunt, Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to throw a little X factor in there. I'm going to throw in Jalen Carter for a sack. Anytime sack. Why? Because they are moving Tooney, which is one of their best offensive linemen, kicking him out from left guard to tackle. Right? They are weak there.
Oh, so now he's gonna.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now you
This
have
has
some
changed. I didn't even know
penetration.
that.
You have some penetration into the A gap. Right?
So let's put that down.
And as long as the main focus for this game is contain Mahomes, right? Let him hurt you or try to hurt you within the pocket. Do not let him roll out. Once he rolls out, it becomes a problem.
Yep.
You know, he's going to run for first downs. He could chuck it to whomever, Xavier Worthy, and he takes it for 30. Travis Kelce for another 20. He does that.
One of those. So one of the highest prop bets right now is Mahomes over rushing yards.
Yeah.
Pat is telling me today. Pat's like, Mike, everybody take the over on Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, and that's exactly why I'm not going to take it. I'm not taking it.
No.
Once Pat tells me, I'm done. No, but Pat does have some good ones. But the fact that so many people have already done it, you already know it. Just analytics and trajectory. There's a lot of patterns to this.
I mean, as a bettor, you definitely want to edge yourself. So, by all means, take that. But then also, too, get ready for the world where Mahomes has 10 yards rushing. You know what I mean? Maybe they get out to a big lead and he doesn't have to do that. Maybe, there's a lot of stuff that could happen. He's had foot injuries in the past. What if all of a sudden he gets hit in the knee and now he ain't rushing anymore. So always try to hedge yourself and don't invest too much in it and have fun doing it.
So what do we like so far? We like Goddard, potentially over yardage, over receptions.
I think a big X factor in this game that a lot of people are overlooking is Devontae Smith.
Devontae, I love him.
I love him. I had
him
him in fantasy, man. He killed me some weeks. But I'm telling you, there are just too many heads to have a hat for it. And I believe he will get loose up the seam, maybe streaking down the sideline for a 40-yarder. What do I know? I'm just saying. I've seen it before. And all you have to do is just a little play action, bring the linebackers in, Karlaftis, those boys, Bolton, and then you just go over the top.
And he's the guy to do it.
He can spread you out.
He is that guy, and he's the guy that can take you over his yardage prop in one play.
Right. So that
40-yard catch, no problem.
So that I would go big on. I mean, there's yardage plays where I've had Saquon for a lot of people for some reason. If speaking to the lines, the house, if the Eagles are up by a certain.
Some of these prop bets right now. Keep going.
The Eagles are up by a certain amount. They put plus 125 on receiving yards for Barkley for 25 yards.
Oh, I like
and you would think that's so easy, but if you really think about it, I had it for the Rams game, and I was sweating my what's off because he had 27. Because dude, you're like, oh, this guy's got 200 yards all purpose, but 27 of them were receiving.
Oh my God, yeah. And I guess it's really just, it's tough, man, for him, especially coming out of the backfield. That's why Vegas knows. That's why they put the plus 125.
They know. There's a reason for everything, bro.
They know how to keep it juicy. So I just want to see Devonta Smith. Oh, I love that pick. I'm so happy you said that.
Yo,
we're agreeing today. It's a great day. This is a good day.
Yeah.
Good start for the first show.
Good start
couple
for
of wise
first
guys.
Show. Absolutely.
Couple of ball
wise
busters.
Guys. That's right. Funny how.
So let me see. Let's see real quick out of curiosity. Wow. Travis Kelce plus 135. Anytime touchdown.
You see, you like the DraftKings.
Pull up FanDuel. I know you got FanDuel, right? This is perfect. And we have both things going. I want to see.
I'm a FanDuel guy.
I want to see some more of Devonta's stats because that might be a reception you take the over on. 4+, 4.5 plus.
On the other side of the ball, who I love. So the two guys I love, right, that are X factors in this game, because everybody will be keying on Saquon. Everyone will be keying on Jalen Hurts. Like you said, if we know that KC has that defensive problem against tight ends, They're going to be keying on Goddard too. He's not new to them. Devontae Smith on that side, Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs side. You could easily go. You could easily go into this weekend and say Xavier Worthy for 40, Devontae Smith for 40. Call it a day. Hurts touchdown. Like,
yeah.
That's not a parlay. That's a great parlay.
So one of my parlay cash money homie one of my parlay cash money homie props here. I got Xavier Worthy over 5.5 rushing yards. He's got 5.
No, that's beautiful.
5.5.
They love doing those jet sweeps. So they actually have something now for the past 5-6 weeks. You could take rushing and receiving. The line is at 63.5. That's pretty enticing because honestly, this kid has the capability of getting all of that in one play.
All right, let's see what he did last. Let's see what he's been doing.
Also, too, if you want to, really stick it to the Bills, Josh Allen won MVP.
Absolutely.
Even though I believe Lamar should have won.
So, it was 27 to 23 votes.
Right.
Josh Allen, 27, 23 for...
And I think Orlovsky was the deciding factor, or he made the pick for Josh Allen, and I totally disagree. First of all, we have to take advice from a guy that went 0-16. I mean, he was playing on the Lions when they went 0-16, but I got to take advice from Dan Orlovsky. That's why we're sitting here. But again,
unbelievable,
right? Like, all greatness to him.
Well,
but
to go back to your Xavier Worthy thing, so let's see. I mean, a lot of these games, we already know he's going to get over 40, 50 yards, catching the ball. Last game, 101 yards.
I'm telling you.
Game before that was the one against Texans. They kind of.
But wait, I didn't hit on this Bills point.
Go.
So you know how the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy? That was the pick in the draft. The Bills originally had that pick and traded to Kansas City. You're a bunch of assholes.
And they took Keon Coleman instead?
In the second round. You're a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
That's why you will always finish second to them.
I mean, and honestly, just off topic here, but about Xavier Worthy, do you remember that first game? The first game of the season was the Thursday Night Football, Chiefs and Ravens, right?
Right.
And one of the first plays that they run, like third or fourth plays, they run that jet sweep.
Right.
And I see him take off, and right away I know everybody is watching, saying,
like,
"I can't believe I didn't draft him."
But you know what? It's crazy because in the combine, I'm like, dude, this is Tyreek Hill, the taller version.
Yeah.
This is the taller version of Tyreek.
He's the guy,
and that's how they utilize him. Could you imagine if the Chiefs ever got Tyreek Hill back?
I mean, well, they're gonna get Rashee Rice back already.
But that's probably not. But that's not probably in November because think about it. He's still the suspension and the ACL.
Yeah.
So he's got a double whammy.
You're absolutely right. I mean, Tyreek would be a nice little piece for next year.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, going back to the Super Bowl, I feel that Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs side and Devontae Smith on the Eagles side are X factors on offense.
Absolutely.
I think honestly they could bust your parlay. Like if you have both of them for like 40 or 60 plus yards and a touchdown each.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice little four play, you know what I mean?
So the parlay I like then is Xavier Worthy over the yards, let's say 63.5, is that what it is?
Right.
63.5. Devonta, me personally, I feel like if he's going to get over the receptions, he's going to get over the yards. So over 4.5 receptions, what is he at? 60.5 yards?
You see, you see, this is the crazy thing about these guys. These two are the type you take the yardage and not the receptions because they're the type to have 2 and 80 and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're both Deshaun Jackson.
Wow.
Literally.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
Well, Devonta, 100%.
Tell me they're not Deshaun Jackson, D-Jax.
Of course, man.
They're reincarnations of D-Jax. Yeah. Like, they're not going to get premium targets. They're going to get, like, 6 targets each, 2 catches each, probably for 60 or 80 yards and a touchdown.
Boom plays, yeah.
Yeah, like, they're explosion plays. Because if you really think about it, Devontae Smith's explosion is way cut off because now it's either he's scoring on a 40-plus or it's tush-push time or Saquon time. So anything out has to be outside the 20.
Wait, so I got to figure this out. So who do you think will have more yards, Worthy or Devonta? It's tough, right?
That is tough.
I know who
I'm gonna go Worthy.
Oh wow, I was gonna say Devonta. So I mean,
I'm gonna go Worthy for the mere fact of Devontae. Xavier Worthy has the jet sweep in his favor. They use him in the rushing.
Sweep.
Right? No, they use him.
Sweep.
But they use him in the rushing game.
Not over Devonta though, man. I don't know.
No, because the reason why the only deciding factor, honestly, was because of Saquon.
Yeah.
He takes like if they're on their game, if they are what I project, the Eagles are going to win this game. It's going to be a heavy dose of Saquon. I know they're going to try to stifle him, but then okay, like.
That's why I think they're going to have to throw the ball, and I think Devonta could get more yards than Worthy because of it. Would be the perfect segment for a thing called side bets.
Side bets.
We do side bets. That's why I put that in. Side bets. Well, all of a sudden, we're in the middle of the show, and we just be like, listen, side bet. And we just make a little quick side bet, you know what I mean? That's
great.
And that's what this shit's all about. The wise guys you gotta go head to head.
Wait, did you like the name?
Yeah.
Glenn, did you like the name?
Yeah, I loved it.
He loved it, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. And by the way,
I started trying to make like art for it already on AI.
I mean,
it's not working out yet. But
No, I got an
Glenn's
idea.
a very talented guy, though. Very
Glenn,
talented.
you ever seen Goodfellas? Okay,
Sorry.
Google it. Look,
He's young. He's young.
No. I got an idea.
Holy shit.
Or Godfather. You put us both in tux, and we're both facing each other this way.
I know.
And we're both either crossing our arms or whatever, and we have like a football in our hand.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's kind of like we're like killers, but we're football killers.
Absolutely.
Tell me I'm not.
You know,
crazy.
one of the funny things that AI pulled out for me before. Look at this. I thought it was interesting. I don't want to use this, but look how it based off the name. This is what AI created.
That's very
See
soccer.
the mischievous
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
but that's AI, dude. AI is taking over. Soon AI is going to be making all these prop bets. But I will tell you one thing: if you look, all these ESPN, all these DraftKings, any CBS Sports, Yahoo Sleeper, these guys aren't getting much right. I listen to the shows. I follow them all religiously.
Listen.
I hear you and me get way more right than they do, which is why we have our own show now.
That's why. But also, too, you have to think there has to be all these different scenarios, right? Like, if you guys out there watched Avengers, Endgame,
Absolutely.
Doctor Strange, there are so many scenarios that could happen. We could be sitting here and this whole world could look like jackasses tomorrow at this time because it's a field goal game.
Yeah.
And the biggest highlight is Jake Elliott with a 57-yarder. But
Right.
that's what I'm trying to say to you. Like, there is a world, there is a dimension where just that happens.
Yeah.
Or there is a dimension where Saquon Barkley gets the first toss and throws it over to A.J. Brown, and that's the first touchdown.
I could see
There
it.
are so many outcomes that could happen.
Somebody.
So we're just here to try to nail the easy ones, the layups. Because we can't account for that to happen.
Yeah.
We can only account for, the most probable cause.
And that's the kind of bettor I am. Whenever I bet, I'm a short game guy. I like to just 20 here, 20 there, maybe 50, maybe something.
What was the line I told you one day? I was like,
What?
I said,
You tell me too many lines, dude.
no,
How
wait.
am I gonna fucking remember one line?
I told him, I go, bro, if this bet is hitting, and you're gonna tell your kids you do.
Oh yeah. He said, tell your kids you knew me. I was like, oh Jesus.
And Tuesday, I'm going to Cancun. By the time tomorrow's
He said, dude, he just screenshots me the bet. Tell your kids you knew me. Oh, so I mean so basically Puma's saying Eagles are gonna win. I'm saying Chiefs are gonna win. I say over Devonta Smith yardage. He says over Xavier. We both agree on both Xavier Worthy and Devonta. We both agree on Jalen Carter 1+ sack. Jalen Hurts anytime TD. Kareem Hunt anytime TD. I mean, these are all great props. And honestly, I don't even want to say Chiefs. I just know that based off of how the pattern's gone this year, that's what's making me feel like they might win.
Well, no,
But
I
doing
totally
Eagles.
get it.
My wife, Sam, fucking diehard Eagles fans, all of them. I can't stand it. It's so annoying hearing the fly, Eagles fly. I hear it every second. But being down there, it's contagious. Eagles down in that area, they are insane fans.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we haven't even talked about, so we are die-hard Jet fans. I'm sure anybody that's watching this, the 11 views we might get on this first run, they all probably already know we're die-hard Jet fans.
Yeah, I mean, you even made your company green.
As you can see. So One thing I like that you mentioned earlier is you said you wanted to talk about the top 12 way too early rankings.
Right.
These aren't mine. These are a consensus thing that I saw. But
Right.
so the overall right now, number one, they're saying Jamar Chase for next season. Are you feeling Jamar Chase?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Because and here's why, right? Because Jamar Chase, I honestly think top 3 receiver in the league, no doubt about it.
Dog.
But when we're talking about the number 1 player off your board, you're talking about a guy that can't be phased by anything. And when I say that, I mean a Joe Burrow injury. Or T. Higgins has left the squad, so who's going to take on that number 2 role?
Mhm,
Are we going to see double, triple coverage on Chase? Where is he going to go? Or is it more going to be Gesicki and Tyler Irving or whoever the Bengals have in store, Jermaine Burton, Ishivas, right? Like, where are they going to go? So, like, yes, if I have the number 3 pick, number 4 pick, I'm banging the table for Chase.
All day.
But at number 1, I cannot take Chase because, honestly, and how I've been brought up, I can't take a wide receiver number 1. Your quarterback goes out, you're done. You're done. But if I have a Saquon Barkley in the backfield, if I have a Jameer Gibbs, a Bijan Robinson, friggin' your wife could go out there and hand the ball off to them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I need a guy that his team, if they fall apart, can still get points. A la Brees Hall when, we had Zach Wilson at the helm and he was still averaging 15, 17 fantasy points 2 years ago.
15, 20 touches a game will do that for a guy like
Right.
Brees.
So as the running back, you're still going to get those touches. As a wide receiver, you basically have to bank that your quarterback is a top level quarterback.
Yeah.
To get if you took Jefferson, right? Justin Jefferson, all these guys with the J's. Justin Jefferson, you had to bank that Darnold was going to be this good this year. A lot of people didn't do that. A lot of people took Justin Jefferson 10 and beyond.
Yeah.
Or top of the second round.
I took Amon-Ra over him.
Right. Or they took him 8 or lower. Because again, we didn't know about Sam Darnold. And sometimes people will say, well, the receiver outweighs the quarterback. Okay, go ask Tyreek Hill how that went when Tua went out. Right? Yeah. I took Tyreek Hill in our league. I took him 7th overall. Probably the worst pick of the first round. Now, did I win?
Brutal.
Yes.
5th pick.
5th pick. Was it brutal? It was a brutal pick? Absolutely. But I saw the value in Tyreek, but now I know, okay, without Tua, right? That's our lesson. That sometimes you don't fail. You're just learning that, hey, without this certain player, and if Huntley's in there and whatever backup is there, they're not gonna favor Tyreek. And even when Tua came back, they were favoring Janu Smith.
Yeah, he was getting a lot more work, especially in that short area. He was hurt. Tyreek Hill got hurt, and that's something else you never know if somebody gets hurt.
So short answer, no, I do not like Jamar Chase.
Nor do I. And honestly, even for a far more superior reason than the facts you mentioned, what about just the pure fact of that, almost like the Madden cover syndrome? Every guy that's projected number 1, he was, let's see, last year he had 412 fantasy points, or 403 fantasy points for full PPR. The next guy after him, Justin Jefferson, 317. Off the top of my head, that's 84 more points. That is insane. So is he going to repeat the same thing?
No.
Common patterns and trajectories say that somebody like that is going to go down.
And that is not even bringing up the emergence of Chase Brown, who was one of the biggest sleepers going into the season. I told everybody, if you know me, I told you. But I had to let him go, and this guy picked him up in our league only because I picked up Bucky Irving. So
yeah, you did get lucky. You got Bucky. It was a good trade-off. You could have dropped Jared Goff maybe like 3 weeks earlier. But even Jaden wasn't on, and he still won the championship.
Anyway,
whatever.
With the emergence of Chase Brown, T. Higgins departing, right, most likely.
Yep.
I can't see Jamar Chase going number 1 overall for me.
And personally, he's not even my wide receiver 1. I have him at my wide receiver 2.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same thing that I did last year for my wide receiver 1. I'm still putting CeeDee Lamb absolute top.
Okay.
Guy finished 8th last year. He was 5th before his injury, despite the fact that he had Cooper Rush as his quarterback, had an AC joint sprain for the entire year. I mean, you've heard
He's a dog.
absolute dog. In the last 2 games, I had him. I lost him in the fantasy championship. Disgraceful. I actually ended up losing that game completely. But CeeDee Lamb proved that he's an alpha over there. And with the potential of them drafting a high running back, I have to feel that bringing Schottenheimer in, Dak coming back, I feel like these guys are going to be hungry, a new spark. CeeDee, the only place he can go is up. And
So who's your
I wouldn't
first
take
pick?
him as my number 1 pick. My number 1 pick as of right now, I have it personally between Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. If I had the number 1 pick, it's tough though, because obviously I like receivers. I like CD. It's really tempting not to take Jamar Chase. Really tempting not to take Justin Jefferson. It's even way more tempting not to take Saquon. But Saquon, for the same reasons, I don't like him over. I don't like him over Gibbs. I don't like him over Bijan. So, I mean, me personally, I probably Jahmyr Gibbs. But he's another one that's a little risky right now for way too early rankings. He's a totally different system. Ben Johnson's gone. The running backs coach, what's his name? He's gone.
Right.
Not the running backs coach, the quarterback coach. They've lost a lot of key players over there, key members of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Bijan at the end of the year, when Penix came in, Kirk Cousins was gone, had a shit ton more production. They started giving him a lot of work, moving the ball is exciting.
Number 1 overall, I'm definitely going Saquon Barkley, just because,
Of course you are.
Kellen Moore might be leaving after this game. Whether they win or lose, he'll become the next Saints coach, I believe.
Yeah.
But that system came from Sirianni when he was on the Colts, and the tush push and all that. So I believe
they like to run the ball.
they'll be fine, and they have that extraordinary, which I think is the number 1 offensive line in the league, next to the Detroit Lions. And then for me, it's like Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Bijan. Only reason why I favor Gibbs over Bijan is for the mere fact of
more talented.
Not only that, I think their talent is quite similar, but the Lions, first and goal, they're running.
Yeah.
They're running. Falcons, they're trying to bring along a young quarterback, second-year quarterback, which is going to be Penix. They're going to want to get Drake London involved. They're going to want to try to get Kyle Pitts involved.
For a 5th year in a row.
So, again, not saying any choice is wrong. Me, day 1, right now, Saquon Barkley is my number 1 pick.
I'm going to lock mine in at Jahmyr Gibbs. That's my number 1 pick next year.
And you know what? I was leaning Gibbs for a long time. But, we did, you just spoke about how Ben Johnson is leaving. I don't know what we're going to see from that Detroit offensive coordinator, that new one. I would think it would be the same kind of call play, because Campbell's still at the helm. But again, Campbell was a special teams coach coming in, a tight ends coach. Yeah. So, he doesn't have the offensive background as like a Andy Reid or Sirianni, who were offensive coordinators. Now they're head coaches who actually could call the plays over their offensive coordinator.
Definitely.
And, with our boy, that loser, Mekhi Becton, at right guard, which every time I see him, it pains me.
Breaks your heart.
Jets and Giants fans, you're going to love this Super Bowl because I feel like they're 2 guys that left him is going to win. But, he is doing very well and at where they're playing him, especially with Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
I think Saquon at number 1.
So if my number 1 running back is Jahmyr Gibbs, I already said my wide receiver 1 would be CeeDee Lamb. Who would your wide receiver 1 be?
Right now, I'm going Justin Jefferson.
You can't go wrong. I mean, this guy's untouchable. Like, he gets anybody at the quarterback, and
he had Sam Darnold throwing him the ball. Like, that in itself tells you, not only is Justin Jefferson matchup proof, but Justin Jefferson is quarterback proof.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, I remember a game, I kid you not, last year, Kirk Cousins was hurt, and they had Dobbs throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
And he was still getting it.
Who was the other guy after him?
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins.
That's what, you know what I mean? Like,
unbelievable.
Dude, him and Lamb, quarterback proof. Jamar Chase, I've seen with Jake Browning 2 years ago. I didn't even know he was in the stadium. Tyreek Hill. Awful without their guys. They're not awful players. Some guys just need a better trigger man. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, they don't need nobody.
They know how to get open. They're long, they're long, they're lanky, and they're strong still. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is a strong dude.
So for me, number 2 pick, or just in general, number 2 wide receiver, I'm going Justin Jefferson, JJ.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. I mean, you can't go wrong with either of these picks, no matter what. Saquon Barkley, I mean, I don't know, man. We'll see if he tears his ACL again or some shit.
Well, this is barring any, who is on the Madden cover.
Well, that's why.
If by April or whatever, when do they release that? May or whatever?
Yeah.
June? And we find out poor Saquon is on the Madden cover, run. Just don't even think about it and press Bijan Robinson.
We all know what happened to Christian McCaffrey last year. I mean, the guy now, I can't even see him in the fantasy rankings. Scroll down, wow. So he's currently, they're drafting him in the late second round, it looks like.
But CMC?
CMC. I mean,
I think is a value.
I'm not taking him. I don't want him. I don't want a part of it. I can't have a part of a guy that I know was hurt like that.
Like for me,
it's a tendonitis. It's not even like it's just a break or
what people don't think
tear.
about is, yes, you want to draft the player. First pick, second pick, you're drafting the best available. When you start getting to that late second and third and beyond, right? I like to think of it as you're drafting the system, right? You draft Kyle Shanahan's system because okay, if I get CMC, I must handcuff him. And if I handcuff him, I'm getting a Patrick Taylor. Mm-hmm. Jordan Mason's going to be a free agent, I bet. So they're not re-signing him. I'm getting an Isaac Garindo because I know once CMC is out, those guys are going to feast.
They're going to get the work.
So I'm not too worried about CMC because I know the benefit. And what better to start my fantasy team off with Saquon Barkley at 1, and you wrap around and you come back on a bunch of guys that are nervous on CMC, and I tag team him with Christian McCaffrey. Now I'm looking pretty good at RB1 and RB2 if we have a clean season. But again, people get away or think that it's a wasted roster spot to handcuff their best player. No, it is not overrated. I don't see it as misusing your roster. I'm seeing it as you're buying premium insurance. And premium insurance costs because it's premium.
And that's one of the things that I don't even touch when it comes to it.
Or you could go fight with Mike on the waiver wire on Tuesday.
Yeah, you don't want to fight with me on the waiver wire. But anybody that's injured, I don't even want to get a part of it. I let somebody else deal with the headache. I like to look for somebody I know is going to be healthy, that's going to play a lot of games. That's why I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's why I love guys like Terry McLaurin. That's why I love, that's why I'm really against guys like Nico Collins or Achane. Even though I love them at the right time when I picked them, absolutely. But I like dogs. I need a guy that's going to play. That's why I love CeeDee Lamb. The guy played, 13 weeks last year with a fucking torn or sprained MCL. Guy be on the floor crying in pain. Get back up the next play. 20-yard catch. Tutty. Unbelievable.
No,
but
he's a stud.
You know that someone like CMC, if you get him at the right time, how can you pass him up?
No, because the potential. Okay, we're in this game to win, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people and a lot of fantasy pundits will say you don't win your draft. You don't win your league at the draft. You know that, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you have to take a chance because if you're not going to take that chance, I'd rather be in a car in motion than a one that's parked, right? So if I'm just waiting for things to happen and not making transactions and not taking a chance on an Achane or a CMC, then I'm never going to hit that home run, and I'm never going to shoot that shot, that three-pointer like Steph Curry. You know what I mean? It's like asking a girl out at the bar. If I see a 10,
Yeah.
bro, I'm going to ask the 10. Because at the end of the day, I play scratch-offs. And I'm going to play 10 or 20 of them. And I'm going to hit one. And I'm going to hit one broad. So that's all it is. You just go until you can't go no more.
No, you got to take shots, and you got to go. That's why I mean I'm never going exactly with consensus. I'm looking at this list right now, and I in no way, shape, or form would I pick in this order. But you know what? That's why you take chances. You got to go with your gut. You got to do what you.
I'm also too. I'm more of a gambler.
But watch your guys. The way I like to do it is, if I see a guy specifically, that's why I fell in love with James Cook. I'm not picking him in the first round.
Great pick.
But I love James Cook because
pick.
I watched him so many times, and I watched him as a player. I'm like, that player is great. Same with Jahmyr Gibbs. And obviously, this is something that all of us see. But when you have that eye for somebody early in the season, pick him a little bit higher next time. You know one pick that you made great that I just called right here. You picked Josh Jacobs. So I picked in the second round of our league. It went the second round, 5th pick, Derrick Henry. Then the 6th pick was me. I took Kamara. And then the 7th pick was you. You took Josh Jacobs. And at first it was like, Josh Jacobs, right in the second round. Just got traded to the Packers. Kind of was looking like a bum the year before. But look at him. And the best part was at one point, it was like week 5. He's having a crappy year. I'm ready to trade you Debo for him. And you're like, at one point, I guess I must have exhausted Puma because I just kept asking him. He's like, you know what? Listen, I'll do the trade. Debo for Josh Jacobs. And at this point, I'm like, can't trust Puma. Like, why? Why does he want to do this trade? And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm keeping Debo now. Sure enough, Debo tanks the worst year ever. Josh Jacobs comes. The last 4 weeks, he had like 10 touchdowns. Off. 25 points, 28 points. And then that's just what shows you that you pick a guy that you believe in early, you keep him, you play him, and that's what happens. That's just one prime example.
Right.
You know, and do you see how I remember all this? How we remember? We're sick.
You stopped me on that.
I could go back and forth all over this stuff because I watch it, I study it, and these are the things that you have to do. And that's the part of it. You have to have the passion for it. You got to know what's going on. You know, who's playing who, whose team. I could recite every single team from that league and who they had on the roster.
Did you have James Cook on your roster? No.
No, I had him the year before and the year before that.
Stud.
He was stud this year. Of course, last year I had him, what was it, like 2-3 touchdowns under that offensive coordinator? I can't remember his name. What was that guy? But anyway.
Before Joe Brady?
Remember, they were running with Latavius Murray all the time in the red zone. And that's one of the things you can't predict sometimes. You might pick a player, and all of a sudden the game script
Jim Dorsey.
Bum. And then all of a sudden the game scripts can flip. And you might not know, but you know what? This is why you kind of watch, pay attention to the offseason, pay attention to finding out how many snaps is this guy getting. Is he getting the ball in red zone in practice?
Right.
Is he getting the touches? They were talking about Murray getting it over him during the preseason. They were like, it's not looking good. Cook's getting nothing in the red zone. And I'm like, it's preseason. But sure enough, it followed into the script. So.
And then now they got Davis. They got, what's his name? Davis, number 22 on the...
Ray Davis.
Davis. Oh, my God.
You picked him up at one point. You stashed him.
I stashed him. I did.
Which always makes me worried. I'm like, fuck. When I see... It's always like I see
like
Ray
75
Davis.
running backs. I'm like,
I see Ray Davis in the waivers, and then all of a sudden I'll see the next day Puma added him, and I'm like, shit, what did I miss? Should I have added him? Like, I was thinking of adding him, and then all week I'm like, watching, waiting. I'm like, okay, I guess.
What is Puma thinking?
You know?
That's what you're thinking.
Oh my God. Same thing all the time. Or if I'll go in and make a pick on a Friday, I'm like, oh, Aaron Jones is down, Cam Akers. I go right to the waivers. All of a sudden, like 4 minutes before me, Joey Puma picks up so-and-so.
Wait, what was there one time I picked up a player and you were just gonna pick him up? Was it Bucky? I forgot who it was.
No, it wasn't Bucky.
You're like, I was lit, and then you called me too. You go,
Kentrey Miller.
Oh, right.
Who ended up not being anything crazy,
but it was just a part of like, you're like, I was just gonna press the button.
Another thing, that's why if you have a player that you want to pick up, don't sleep on it.
No, pick him up.
There's always somebody to drop. And if you can't drop him, and especially if you have a guy questionable and you're looking to pick up his handcuff, pick him up. And that was me. I'm like, Kamara's gonna play. Kamara's gonna play.
Well, I knew I was
Right.
playing Mike in the first round of the play. What first round of playoffs?
You played me second
round. I knew I was
2
playing
years
him
in a
second
row.
round, and
Lost.
I knew that Monday night game was coming up with the Packers, so I had Josh Jacobs,
Yeah.
which I was sick as a dog, by the way. And I remember, and I'm saying to myself, a great thing to look at is to see if the player is practicing on a Thursday. If the player is not practicing on a Thursday and going into Friday walkthrough, that like, okay, he might have a shot. All right, now it's like looking like, listen, buddy, like, you guys aren't going anywhere. It's not like they're fighting for a playoff spot. Derek Carr is out. I'm like, you know what? They're gonna sit him. And worst case, if they do play him, he might not get that many snaps anyway. So you know what? Let me take this guy's prime handcuff. He ain't doing anything, and if he plays him, actually, I want him to play him because he probably won't get them snaps.